God is dead. Is there anyone who hasn't heard this? I don't think so. It's that famous, cool phrase that rebellious teenagers usually plaster on their walls, that atheists use as if it were a victory. But I need to tell you something, dude. Nietzsche wasn't celebrating when he said this. He was horrified. Because he saw something coming, a great catastrophe approaching. Nihilism. He foresaw that with the collapse of the values that had held us together for centuries, humanity would fall into a great pit of meaninglessness. And I think he was right. Because I believe we are in that pit today. Yes, there's Wi-Fi in the pit. You can't find a reason to wake up in the morning. Everything seems meaningless and unnecessary. That was the reason for Nietzsche's horror. So man, what can we do? How can Nietzsche, known as the mustachioed, angry man, one of the most misinterpreted figures in history, save us from this pit? What kind of superhuman do you think would emerge if we combine Stoicism and Machiavellianism, which we discussed in previous videos, with Nietzsche's philosophy? Look, Nietzsche criticizes Stoic philosophers for saying live according to nature because nature is cruel. But he is actually their brother. Because the Stoics have a saying, fate carries the willing, drags the unwilling, which is the basis of Nietzsche's concept of Amor Fati, or love of fate. Both essentially share the idea that everything will come to pass as it must. Don't just accept what happens to you, love it, it is your life. Do you think this quote belongs to the Stoics or Nietzsche? If you say the Stoics, you are greatly mistaken. Its connection to Machiavellianism is even more surprising. Nietzsche sees Machiavelli as fresh air. Because Machiavelli ignores endless discussions of morality and virtue, saying, guys, this is not how things really work. Why? Because both focus on the concept of power and push moral tales aside. But the power Nietzsche refers to should never be thought of as the power of a dictator. However, dude, I have a small warning. Nietzsche agrees with Machiavelli on realism, yes, but it is precisely here that he takes a swing at Socrates, the famous father of philosophy, whom everyone praises to the skies. Yes, Nietzsche disliked Socrates. Why? Because Socrates thought life was a mathematical problem that could be solved only with reason and logic. He said, if you know the truth, you will do the right thing. According to him, Socrates tried to suppress the wild, creative, and passionate person within us with boring logic. Socrates wanted to turn us into people who analyze everything. Nietzsche, on the other hand, wants to unleash the beast inside that robot. In other words, you can't live by just thinking. Nietzsche describes the will to power as man's transcendence of himself. A painter drawing until dawn to finish his work, you continuing to watch this video despite all the distractions around you and liking the video. In short, he says that the real power lies in ruling oneself rather than ruling others. And this is where the Übermensch, the superhuman, comes in. The Ubermensch must be the only person who rejects the herd morality dictated by society, such as, don't do this, it's shameful, it's a sin, and creates his own morality. According to Nietzsche, man is a tightrope stretched between the animal and the Übermensch. Most of us are afraid to walk on that tightrope. We are afraid of falling. But Nietzsche says, walk, live dangerously, create your own values. So what are we doing? We are stepping out of our comfort zone and taking action, right? Now let's play a game, a dangerous game. Think about the worst day of your life. The same mistakes, the same heartbreaks, the same messages. Yes, those messages too. If a demon came and said to you, you will live this life, exactly the same, without changing anything, over and over again, forever, what would you do? Would you throw yourself on the ground and cry? Or would you turn to that demon and say, you are a god, and I have never heard a more divine word? This is what Nietzsche calls the eternal recurrence. It is not a physical theory, but a kind of test of existence. If you cannot bear to live your life over and over again, then you are not truly living. Nietzsche says, live your life in such a way that you would have the courage to want to repeat it forever. At the beginning of the video, I called you the mustachioed and angry man. Actually, Nietzsche was one of the loneliest and most fragile men in history. I'm sorry, Nietzsche. Even Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, refused to read Nietzsche for years. Do you know why? Because he said, he knows more than I do, and I'm afraid of being overshadowed by him. But this brilliant man was defeated by compassion. The man who said compassion is weakness from the day he was born literally ran to the neck of a horse being whipped in the streets of Turin in 1889. That tough philosopher hugged the horse, cried, said I understand you, and collapsed to the ground. From that moment on, he lost his sanity and never spoke again. Interesting, isn't it? The philosophy of power that shook the world came from a delicate heart that couldn't even bear the pain of a horse. Perhaps the whole idea of the Ubermensch was a shield he created to overcome his own loneliness and pain, like we do. And in the end, like all shields, it broke. So, I think we should stop living according to others. Even if it's a heavy burden, let's start creating ourselves with the hammer in our hands. Because even if this life repeats itself forever, we are the ones who will make it beautiful. No, my friend, a new girlfriend won't make your life beautiful. In the next video, I plan to talk about what we'll do if this load becomes too heavy. That is, the absurd. Maybe a little Camus and a cup of coffee will help us pull ourselves together. I look forward to your thoughts in the comments. Until then, keep thinking. See you soon.